Lost you there for a moment. I wasn't sure if we were going to get you back.
Yeah. It happened while I was trying to share out and all that. So I figured I'd get that over with, the like and share, and then I figured I'd come back. And hopefully I won't go out. I was having it seemed like the connection issues that I've had a little
Yeah.
bit here, but hopefully that won't be for long.
So, okay. Anyways, hello everybody. Welcome to the Mikestand. If you haven't already, of course, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. Yeah. So what I was telling you before we came on, Rick, is that we're having a pretty lively discussion about all that last night.
Yeah.
Depending
Yeah.
upon the situation, depending upon certain situation, I may have that discussion ready to go this Sunday if something else I'm trying to get doesn't pan through for this Sunday. Trying to get something else
Yeah.
going for this Sunday. If that doesn't
Yeah.
come through, then we'll probably go ahead and discuss that article again
Yeah.
from
Well,
Bounty
I think it.
Monetarily.
I think it also. I think it'll also depend on who's all there. Yeah, I probably have some myself. I'd probably end up having a point somewhere in between. Although I didn't hear their points, so I can't say for sure. But probably somewhere in between Tim and what is it, Elk. And
Yeah.
then of course, hopefully we'd have metal there, and because if there's metal there, then you got a couple other pointers of view. You know,
Well, as I said,
um,
I kind of
so,
knew. I kind of knew last night when I picked that article because I had my eye on that article for a few days there because it looked like it was going to probably be a pretty good article to go over and spark some interesting conversation. So that's why I just waited to. But with that, hello everybody, welcome to the mic stand. Today is Wednesday, May the 1st. So of course, for the week wise, it's Hump Day. The idea of getting over the hump.
yeah,
We're halfway through the week already, so hopefully you guys are having a good week thus far. Also, of course, with it being May 1st, it's the first month of May, so we're just past a third of the way through the year already. So we're just a little over 4 months into the year. We're starting the fifth month here of May, so hopefully you guys have had a good year thus far. Um, and with that, before I talk about what's on tap for, well, of course, and if you guys can, of course, like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything we talk about tonight grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So, with all that being said, before I talk about what's on tap for tonight, Rick, would you like to do an intro? Share any links, promote any
well,
projects you're doing or anything, promote your channel, the shtick.
uh, yeah. Well, I'm not going to share any links because of how my internet's acting. It wouldn't be a good thing to try and share a link because I'd have to go out of here, and then I'd probably end up getting kicked out of here, which I don't think you want at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think most people here do know I am a comic creator and a content creator here on YouTube. Uh, Although it's pretty minimal at the moment, a lot of it's just live streams with me on Tuesday nights, which we had last night. Sort of a decent discussion there. But yeah, you guys want to look for me on YouTube, Cross Comics. You know, yeah,
Hmm.
and sign up and like, share, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff, and do that
Yeah.
for this channel, of course.
Yeah. And when I popped in about my business, of course, I noticed that some of the discussion that we were having over on here bled into your channel too, I guess. I guess
Yeah,
Tim and
yeah,
Elk were still going ahead on your channel. So. a little
Well,
bit.
they weren't going at it so much,
Yeah,
as you know, they were, and
for lack of a better term, for lack of a better term.
I say that just in the fact that, like, they came by the channel. Tim obviously didn't get on for whatever reason, but I asked how your stream went, and of course, they they said about the back and forth, or however you want to describe it, the lively
Mhm.
discussion that they were having. So that's how it came into my chat. It's not that, and there were a couple minor point. I think Elk or Tim both said about some sort of point.
With
Of course, I
Soho,
didn't
yeah, I
quite get the
saw
point
that.
because
I saw
yeah,
that.
yeah. Of course, I didn't quite get the point because I didn't know the context of it in the discussion
Right,
that you guys had over
right.
here.
All right. So okay, so now with the prelims out of the way, everybody. So here's what's on tap for tonight. We're gonna try to get through 3 articles tonight, all from Bleeding Fool, all comics related. As we got a couple stories revolving around Mike Barron, and also some more. Again, they're still talking about Ed Piskor too. So Nexus Scourge heralds return of Mike Barron's classic sci-fi superhero. Uh, the quote unquote murder of beloved comic creator Ed Piskor isn't going away. And Law Day, Pro Police, Thin Blue Line, comic arrives in shops today. So those three articles. The first one from April 29th, the other two from today. So that's what we're going to be going over today. Of course, the wrestling wrap up and the wrestling wrap up a little later, as well as the this day in each history. So without any further ado, we go ahead and get started. Pull up
You, you.
Scooby Dooby Doo, looking for you. Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? All right, so here's the first one then. It just goes to show you that we don't just go for the drama here. We will just do some of the more mundane articles of releases and stuff like that. Wait, because we obviously want to have a positive environment here. We don't want to just drill on the drama. So,
Sure.
with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. So, smaller quote, Nexus Scourge, unsmaller quote, heralds return of Mike Barron's classic sci-fi superhero article by Chris Braley, published April 29th, 2024. So let's go ahead and look at this. And there it is right there, Nexus Scourge. Nice, interesting color scheme, the red, the silver, orange, yellow. Nice kind of color combination
Yeah.
there.
Well, I think it's more supposed to be white than silver, but yeah,
Yeah.
a white little
Uh,
streak going between the two, the orange and the red.
all right. See. And as always, everybody, if you can like and share the stream if you haven't already. See if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So, with that, let's get into this. So I can find the cursor and click back to the other tab there.
Yeah, gotta love it when the cursor just sort of disappears.
Yep. All right, so here we go. Fans of the iconic fusion of science fiction and superhero genres rejoiced this month during the solar eclipse as Mike Barron made the surprise announcement that his award winning Bronze Age superhero Nexus would be making a triumphant return to comics. In Nexus Scourge, the all new standalone adventure, readers will be reintroduced to the cosmic vigilante Nexus, who is forced to confront an ancient evil that threatens the very fabric of existence. Mike announced plans to self-publish the new graphic novel from his official website. Check out the trailer, and then if you guys want to go there, just look up YouTube, just Nexus Scourge cinematic trailer. Type that out and featuring
Hopefully, you'll
captivating
find it.
featuring captivating art and colors by Kelsey Shannon, who was also involved, who did art for Batman Adventures, Dark Fang, and Nora's Saga, along with letters by Warren Montgomery, who was involved with, of course, Florida Man, which I believe was another one of Mike's titles.
Books.
Nexus Nefarious, yeah, okay, Nexus Nefarious, and written by Nexus co-creator Mike Baron, who of course is known for The Punisher, The Flash, and Bronze Star. The stakes in Scourge, quote unquote, are higher than ever. In Nexus Scourge, readers are thrust into an enthralling narrative as Nexus investigates the mystery of vanishing planets and complete star systems. Yeah, with the
Sounds like
universe.
something for the Starship Enterprise. And Elk is here. Hey, Elk, how are you?
All right. Hey, Elk. Hail, Xeno and Xeno, our only true genre saviors. All right. Oh, with that, continuing on here. Um, let's see. Oh yeah. With the universe on the brink of destruction, Nexus must unravel the truth against seemingly insurmountable odds. Isn't that always the case with heroes? They're
Yeah,
always
well,
insurmountable odds.
sometimes not, but a lot of times.
Yeah. Originally slated for release at Dark Horse Comics in March 2024, unforeseen challenges during the pandemic pushed the project back, along with dozens of other projects at Dark Horse being canceled. This prompted Barron to take matters into his own hands, convincing publisher Mike Richardson to take the book back and self-publish it. Leveraging the success of his previous self-published graphic novels like Bronze Star, Thin Blue Line, and Florida Man vs. Hogzilla, Barron turned once again to crowdfunding, launching a fundraising campaign during this month's solar eclipse. Wow, quite a way to start a fundraising campaign, huh? But I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
with this particular title, with this particular book, Nexus, I think it's apropos. It sounds like Nexus and solar eclipses period would probably go together.
yeah.
um,
And Elk's got a couple things saying that he's saying in the comments. My Tibetan city is doomed. I tried to rationalize production by separating different commodities production to control nodes and send them all over the mountains. My shipping costs have driven so high as soon as I unpause, my city will go bankrupt.
I
Okay, is
guess he
that a
must be
game that you're
playing
playing?
one of those civilization games or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, continuing on here. Let's see. Turn to once again. Launching a. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The response was overwhelming, with all modest funding goals surpassed within hours on platforms like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Fund My Comic, and nearly reaching $25,000 in funding within the first 24 hours of the campaigns, with it now closing in on twice that amount as of this writing. So
Oh,
I mean,
well, that's
if he
definitely
wants
good.
to
But
make this a
uh,
series, he has the money to do it now, I guess.
yeah, yeah, and the thing that I would say is probably what it is. It's not just the fact that it's his name, Mike Barron, of course.
Hmm.
It's probably the fact that this is a character that people have known and loved for quite some time. So I'm not sure what his other projects have done. I believe Florida Man did
and of
not
course,
do super
there's
well.
also and also this is a character that the big two haven't sat there and used as toilet paper.
Yeah, yeah, but what I mean, it's in a sense not quite as, I guess, not pop. Well, he is not popular as, but he should be probably popular as, say, Ethan, who had the Cyberfrog character. But I believe Nexus would have been more popular than even Cyberfrog back was in the day. But I could be wrong about that. But I don't think Mike Barons has got quite the following that Ethan has, or at least not in the same way. And I'm not trying to knock
They
Mike
both
Barron.
have a
He's
bigger
great.
following than we do, Rick.
This
they
is true. This is very true.
so anyways, getting back to the article here. So this means the book is both fully funded and is ready to go to print. All that's left is for the creative team to track the crowdfunding campaigns and calculate their order numbers, anticipated to ship in July 2024, so a couple months from now, basically. Um,
Yeah, well, when they're
so
all over, when all the campaigns are over, obviously.
Yeah. Both new readers and longtime fans will soon be able to immerse themselves in the unparalleled science fiction spectacle of Nexus. I like how he said that, immerse themselves, because isn't that what we all want to do with comics, with the comics
Yeah,
that we love to read? Immerse ourselves. That's one of the things I talk about a lot, right? When we're doing the historical comic retrospect, immersing
yeah.
ourselves in those worlds. Um, Fans were thrilled by the preview art posted on Mike Barron's website and on each of the campaign pages. The team is running multiple campaigns simultaneously on Fund My Comic, Indiegogo, and Kickstarter, with minor differences between each of the offerings.
Makes sense.
Art looks pretty crisp too there.
Yeah.
Quote unquote Scourge offers a vibrant expansion of the Nexus universe, filled with villainy, danger, and deceit, brought to life through the dynamic artwork of Kelsey Shannon, who is a self professed Nexus superfan, quote unquote, and was inspired by Nexus co creator Steve Rude and classic comic artists like Alex Toth.
We've
Quote,
got Canuck the King in the chat. Saying, should Talk Talk be pinned? Do you mean TikTok? I'm not sure. I'm not even sure what Talk Talk is if you don't mean TikTok.
well, I would. It almost seems like he may have had some typing issues. I am thinking he's probably asking more. Should TikTok be banned? Because Congress just passed, and I say no, um, but because they just basically what Congress tried to do is they tried to force the Chinese to sell TikTok to an American company, and if they didn't, they were going to try to ban them. So that's
That,
what
well,
we're.
that well, I'd say that's wrong personally, but I may not agree with the Chinese or the Chinese company's tactics or whatever, but forcing somebody to sell something that they don't want to sell is, I think, wrong personally. But
Yeah, and a
that's my
lot of people are in agreement with you on that, right? But anyways, quote: I'm always trying to outdo myself with every Nexus story, and this was no exception. Unquote. Says Barron. Quote: I'm really proud of this book, and I know both Nexus fans and those new to the character are a go. Just a reminder to everybody, of course, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So,
Yeah,
Anyways,
and we also the like and subscribe is also to and sharing. It's also to make sure that algorithm is working for Mike here. So we can get more this these streams to more people.
yeah.
And Canuck says that's Biden. Okay, I'm not sure what's Biden for sure, but probably
Uh,
stuff that we were
oh, he's
saying.
probably responding to what I said earlier about the whole idea of trying to force TikTok to sell to an American company. It's Biden.
Yeah,
It's Biden. It's Biden. But anyways, um, softcover and hardcover editions of "quote unquote" Nexus Scourge are now available for pre-order. For more information or to pre-order "quote Nexus Scourge" unquote, visit Mike Barron's official website at baroncomics.com, where you can still find some of Mike's most recent crowdfunded books still in stock, which of course include Florida Man vs. Hogzilla, Thin Blue Line, and the rest of it. So there we go with that one. Um, so now we'll get into this one, and of course we've talked about this and what all happened here. Um,
yeah.
before
And
we
Canuck
before we get
saying what is yeah. Canuck is saying what is the Oi Tomba golf anime dubbing? I don't see it on anime voice over wiki, and
well, I didn't even
it's
know.
on.
I didn't even know there was one. I didn't even know that anime. First off, I didn't even know that anime existed to begin with. But depending upon when if it's something that just came out, it may be a while before they dub. But if they do decide to dub it, um, you know,
Well, he's saying it's on Amazon. I think he's trying to say it's on Amazon Prime dubbed, but he doesn't see anything about it on voice over wiki. So maybe just nobody's created an article on voice over wiki for it.
yeah, and then I can always look up behind the voice actors too, see if they. Did you watch The Rescuers 1977? No, I never.
Uh,
I never have. Um,
that's the cartoon about the mice, right? And
I believe so. Yeah.
I remember seeing it way back when. I don't remember a lot about it. I'm actually thinking of doing I know a lot of people do the first time reaction videos. I'm gonna think. I've been trying to do those a bit, but I'm thinking about doing a rewatch videos that I haven't watched in like 20 or 30 years or more. But anyways, on with
Yeah, I'm just
the
checking something real quick here, see if I can.
okay. Oh, you're trying to see whether you can find anything on that anime?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just making. Let's see. Koi Tonbo Golf. Let's see. Let me see if I
Well,
can. I'm
it
just.
might just be called Oi Tambo. The golf. He just might be saying it's a golf anime. I'm not sure whether that's part of the title or not, because I would think there would be a word for golf in.
Well, okay. It's simply called. Um, I'm looking at the. I'm looking at the. I'm looking at the. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for it right now. Um, oh, no wonder. No wonder. I doubt very seriously there'd be even a dub out yet because, according to this, it just started. It just started. It premiered in
Well,
Japan. It premiered in Japan on April 6th, 2024. It's currently going in Japan. I don't see anything here where it's saying that it's
so
so
sometimes the dub happens real quick because like I've seen episodes of say My Hero Academia, although it's a little bit more popular than this one, I would think, anyways. But they usually
well,
have a
let's see.
dub of
I'm looking
that
at the
in
I'm looking at the
a week or two.
Wikipedia part. Yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia article right now. It doesn't seem to indicate that any studio in the West has picked it up yet for dubbing. So I don't think it actually. If it is on Amazon Prime, as you said, it might be subbed. It might be subbed, but um, I don't. There's no indication here. Check one other. Well, I guess I can check a couple more
Mm.
sources
While you're
here.
checking that, Canuck says, "Sorry, Mike, I had some questions about the anime." Well, I think Mike would say, "Oh, that's no problem. It's great to have questions." Unfortunately, especially me, I don't know a lot about animes, and I definitely know Mike doesn't know everything about all the animes.
Yeah. Well, this one's a fairly new one to begin with, so
Yeah.
that's part of it right there. This one just premiered like a few weeks ago, back on April 6th, according to the Wikipedia page. So and I'm now going over to the Anime News Network site. Now granted, news wise, yeah, it's not necessarily the best site, but for just basic information on like animes, it's Anime News Network is just about as good as any source you can find. So yeah, and even
And
let's see.
QC is saying here and saying a couple things. So, hello, QC. How are you doing?
Well, it does say that it's streaming on it is streaming on Amazon Prime. So, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's being dubbed. Yeah, let's see. No English staff,
And
no English. Yeah, so it's I don't it's still streaming. So it's probably streaming sub then. Let me see.
what QC says evening, e-wing. So I think he means evening. Robins. Okay. And then he says, yeah, that a Oi Tobin anime appeared out of nowhere. And he says, why is it that some anime dubs are uncredited?
Well, okay, as far as I know, it's not being dubbed. There's no indication here whatsoever that any company in the states, any English, it's not. Basically, I see no sources that say that it is in fact that it is being dubbed. It's not. So
Well, Canuck, have you actually watched an episode and heard the English version of it compared to, no Japanese version? And then QC says the MP100 S season 3 was dubbed was uncredited. Okay. But while we wait for an
well,
answer from
was that
them,
an official dub though, or was that a fan dub? That's also the thing because fan dubs are not necessarily going to get credited because they're just that fan dubs. MP1.
yeah, but would a fan dub be picked up like from a big place like, say, Amazon? Canute is saying there is a dub of it. You'll have to use the website QC was talking about. Okay, I guess the website he's talking about is MP100. I did not see the website that he was talking about myself in this, unless it's MP100.
Oh, MP 100 Mob Psycho? Is that what he's talking about? Or is that what you're talking about?
I'm not sure.
Well,
Uh,
I'm not
QC
in
just
chat,
said,
obviously.
oh, okay. QC said about the MP100 season
Because
S3. I thought
if
that
the
meant
MP
season
one
3.
hundred season 3, if you're talking about Mob Psycho 100, that one probably hasn't. Um, that one
Oh no,
probably hasn't been released yet. The dub would be most likely be the same company as the first two seasons. So, but as for Tonbo, there is no, as far as I know. Canute saying there is a dub of it. You'll have to use the OC. Um,
The website QC was talking about, and then QC goes on to say an an X an XTO. Yeah, you can see it there. Check it out and look at it. Oi Tumbo should be there. Um, well, that's something we'll do maybe offline.
well, yeah. Well, I'm looking it up right. Does Town by Animal have English dub?
Well, I think Angsto is a website. The ANIXTO, I think that's a website.
Is this the English?
And then when you get to that website, I guess to look up um, Oi Tongo, Tumbo or Tungo or Tumbo.
Well, I guess there is because I just looked. I just looked. I just found it on one of on a site. So I guess there is because according to at least one of the sites I'm more familiar with. Damn it! All right, hold
And
on a
QC
second.
today is Kate
Now I gotta
Bristol.
go. Let's see. Now I gotta go.
We've been officially derailed.
Yeah. So let's see. So anime then. I think. See, 1999, 94, then 2019. So it was 2009. I remember.
Well, QC says today is Kate Bristol's birthday. I'm not sure who Kate Bristol is offhand.
She's a dub voice actor. She's done work both in New York and in Dallas. Among some of her more well known well known voices
Gigs.
include Nurse Joy from Pokemon the latter part of the XYZ Pokemon XYZ series. She was also one of the two twins in in Yu Yu Hakusho, and she was also Chiffon in One Piece, the English voice of Chiffon. So,
Canute asks, will you watch Keiju number 8 or no 8? I'm not sure which. I think he means
number
number 8.
eight, and I haven't seen that yet. I don't think I will.
Yeah, I probably won't for sure because there's so many other animes that I sort of want to watch, but it's going to take me a while to get to them. But anyways, before we get any more off track, maybe we should get in with the
Yeah,
article that you were.
but I got thing is, I was clearing out some stuff, and I basically cleared out one of my niche history segments, so I needed to go grab that.
Ah,
All right, there it is. All right. Anyways, all right. So with all that being said, with that being said, let's see.
on to an article.
So the Tombow Autobahn, as far as I know, it doesn't. But anyways, let's get on to this next article.
Well, it appears to be on the one site, but not the. It's not been officially put in any wiki. That's only done by people like me and you. Wikis name rarely, so maybe they just don't know about the site that's done it. Anyways, on to the
Yeah,
article.
I just want to check one more source just for something real quick. Yeah, all right. Oh, I guess we'll wait and see. But well, the funny thing was, is even Anime News Network didn't didn't have any dub information. Now it is possible, just to finish this up a bit. It is possible that maybe because I know there's a simulcast going on right now um, with Ninja Kamui where the information wasn't readily available when it first came out. It's now all out there now, but on the dubbing side of it, but sometimes they don't release the dubbing information right away. But anyways, on with this next article then. um, what was I'm not going to get into that right now. The murder of beloved comic creator Ed Piskor isn't going away. Article by Avi Green, published May 1st, 2024. So, yeah. All right. So, the UK Mail has another item containing screen caps of what the now deceased Pittsburgh cartoonist Ed Piskor wrote in his defense following accusations of quote unquote grooming from a woman cartoonist that he says were hugely exaggerated. Here's a sample of what he claimed on the side, and you can check the rest at the link. For now, what else I will highlight here is what a brother of Piskor had to say. So this is, I guess, from some stuff that Ed from Ed Piskor, basically. So Piskor's distraught younger brother, Bobby, 38, reacted to his sibling's death with his own Facebook post, blasting internet trolls. He said of the words in smaller quotes, "I was murdered by internet bullies," on smaller quote, that in smaller quote, "I will never be able to get out of my head. These words will forever be um,
Cemented.
cemented all across the internet," unsmall quote. So the
And
fact,
QC says, I can tell Sentai dubbing sounds different via recording equipment. Okay, cool, awesome.
yeah, well, each studio is going to have they also obviously have, for the most part, they have their own, usual or have been for years, but some some voice actors have gone back and forth between studios, but usually most studios have their own stock of voice actors. So, anyways, the fact quote the fact is that my brother was murdered by internet bullies. People found the humor to speak about a series of untruths, fictitious excerpts that glorified a certain narrative. Quote, "The words you all wrote that made you all so very proud had a lot of meaning to my brother. In his eyes, he let his family down. When in well, I think it's supposed to when in fact that it fact um, the internet bullies let him down. These words hurt. They hurt so many people." And there's an extra there. I'm not read all that. If anybody thought this was literally funny and hilarious, I guess this might be Avi speaking again. That's downright offensive and strongly suggests they didn't think it was a serious matter, yet sought any way they could to destroy the man's reputation sans any altruism. All for cheap, repellent laughs. That's sick. If a lawsuit can be brought against any of the offending internet trolls that are asking for it. Update. Looks like Wikipedia has included the accused in their entry. Wikipedia adds Ed Piskor's passing to Alex DeCamp's page. So, all right. Well, that one went quicker than I thought.
Yeah, and I think it went quicker because we didn't read that big portion of I guess internet text. So
Yeah, and
that's
well, I don't know if that's just something. Let's see. Oh yeah,
I'm not sure of it.
that I believe this was we had actually read this before in the
Yeah,
previous
yeah,
article, so it's just a
yeah,
re.
and I get that. So, or part of his note to people. Maybe I
Yeah,
shouldn't say internet text, but
yeah. So
hello, cold blood, Zeus. Sorry, my French is very bad. I
yeah,
think Mike's French is not consistent.
yeah. I don't know. Aside from proper names, I don't really know much French. Okay, maybe outside of proper
No,
names,
no,
like names of cities or states or what cities or people, what have you. I only probably know two or three words altogether.
yeah,
So,
the only thing that makes me think that's French too is the second word there. Otherwise, I wouldn't probably even know it was French for sure.
but anyways, let's move on to the last article of the evening here. Um, Again, going back to Mike Barron again, as it were. Law Day, pro police, thin blue line, in smaller quotes there. Comic arrives in shops today. Article by Chris Braley, published earlier today. There's the cover right there. Mike Barron, Joseph Arnold, and Jeff Slimong. So on May 1st, 1958, the United States celebrated its first Law Day. So let's see. That would be 66 years ago today.
Now, is
One
this
day,
real or is this law day? Is that a real day or is it just something made up for Mike Barron's comic?
well,
Or do you know?
I guess we will find out here in a moment.
Hopefully.
One day after President Eisenhower announced the observance to honor the role of law in the creation of the U.S., things look a lot different today than they did 66 years ago. So it probably is a legit day the way they're talking here about
Okay.
it. But one thing remains the same. Comic books are still a fantastic medium for storytelling and a beloved pastime for many. While most comics still feature cape wearing, superpowered mutants and vigilantes, a comic hitting store shelves today features a completely different street level hero, a female cop. Hmm. Yeah. Back in 2020, two-time Eisner Award-winning writer Mike Barron, best known for his work on comics like Nexus, which we were just talking about, The Punisher, and The Flash, were so moved by the riots around the U.S. that he wanted to tell a story ripped from the headlines that would humanize the unsung, villainized police officers that he had come to know. That response was his 56-page comic, Thin Blue Line. Initially, he pitched the story to indie comic publishers, but the shocking amount of vitriol he received in response convinced him that the only way this story would ever get published was if he did it himself, which is precisely what he did. Mike Barron is no stranger to self publishing. He had successfully crowdfunded a handful of projects already, and at the time, had just fulfilled his first Florida Man graphic novel, along with a prose novel for his own superhero, the Badger. Were you about to say something, Rick?
I just hiccuped, but Outcast said something in the chat. He says May Day is an international day of organized labor. In the 1950s, America might have passed Law Day as a troll. Okay.
Hmm. All right. So, anyways, continuing on here, of course. So let's see. Let's see what we're okay. Prose novel for his own superhero, the Badger. Oh wait, let's see. I'm just going to start. Okay. Mike Barron is no stranger to self-publishing. He had successfully crowdfunded a handful of projects already, and at the time he had just fulfilled his first Florida Man graphic novel, along with a prose novel for his own superhero, the Badger. But he wasn't expecting how much of a chord Thin Blue Line would strike with comic book fans, as well as everyday people. After an unexpected appearance on Fox News, Mike's campaign eventually raised almost $150,000 in funding and became the most successful crowdfunding campaign Mike's ever been part of. That
Okay, so
success,
that sort of answers a question from that I proposed or said about or in the last article about whether the $25,000 thing that hit for Nexus was his biggest one, and obviously not. Now, I'm not sure whether it was the smallest either, but 150,000 is definitely a good. I'd like to do that much.
yeah, that success has finally had led to its natural conclusion as Thin Blue Line arrived in comic shops this week as a one-shot comic book published by Antarctic Press.
Cool.
Quote, I couldn't be happier to be working with Ben Dunn and his team. The story is very important to me, and I like how Antarctic has handled it, unquote, Mike Barron says. Quote, I have always ripped stories from the headlines in Punisher, in Nexus. This is stuff of good drama. Kind of like Law and Order.
Yeah,
uh,
and it's where the drama belongs in comic books, in movies, in TV shows. It doesn't belong in the net or on YouTube channels and stuff like that.
I felt I could write a compelling, entertaining story around it, and I did. And now it's going to be available to anyone who has a local comic shop, unquote. Thin Blue Line follows a pair of police officers as their detail guarding the mayor turns into a literal fight for survival. Mobs burn down City Hall, forcing the officers to improvise on the run, relying only on their training and wits as the mayor's protestations and eagerness to placate the rioters prove fruitless. It's kind of funny. They're dealing with with what that last line right there. That's kind of what they're dealing
Yeah,
with at Columbia right now. Have you heard
yeah.
about that? Have you heard about what's going on
I
there?
don't, I don't think so.
So at Columbia, the students are basically pro Hamas. They're protesting for you know
Hamas.
anti-Israel, pro Hamas protesters.
Yeah, they probably have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah. So um, let's see. Yeah. And only encourage more violence. Readers follow the harrowing journey of the law enforcement officers who must fight for their community, their families, and their own survival in a world gone mad. Now imagine that for a moment. Imagine that for
Yeah,
a moment.
it sounds like it.
Okay,
You
you're
know,
trying to
it,
protect somebody, you're trying to keep somebody from getting hurt, if not killed, and they're fighting you every step of the way just so they can placate to some rioters. I mean, really.
Yeah, really, it does sound like it's some sort of action movie right out of the 80s or 90s, maybe even earlier.
Yeah. So, anyways, mainstream comics publishers haven't featured cops as a central hero in decades. But a few older readers may be familiar with DC Comics' last experiment with the police protagonist from way back in 1975 with Officer Lisa Warner in a tale called Lady Copy from DC First Issue number 4, July 1975. The title was never picked up for a series, and the character wouldn't appear in DC Comics again for over 30 years. Now, mind you, though, um,
Yeah, I was
I,
thinking
I, I
that's
do know I do know because I have some copies of this. I have some copies in my closet there. Um, actually, back was about maybe 15 to 20 years ago. DC was doing kind of a cop, but it was still kind of interconnected with the rest of their mainstream universe, mind you. But they had a title called Gotham Central, which of course
yeah, yeah,
featured characters like Maggie Sawyer, Renee Montoya, Crispus Allen,
yeah.
you know Harvey
Basically,
Bullock.
it featured the Gotham City Police Department. Yeah, I've actually got a couple copies of that too. That miniseries. And but also, I was
It wasn't a
gonna
mini
say,
series; it was a
okay,
full-on series. It wasn't a mini
yeah,
series; it was a full-on series.
okay. Well, I think they did a miniseries before that too. I could be wrong. And then there is another miniseries or one shot. The SCU, the Special Crimes Unit,
Mhm.
for Metropolis. The Metropolis Special Crimes Unit or Superpowered Crime Unit, something like that. They've had that too, which is another cop one. And again, another sort of cop one is Loose Cannon was a cop as well in his alter ego from DC. And then, although it's not quite the same, but of course we know Guardian, the original, I think the original Guardian from DC, who had the yellow helmet, yellow shield, he was once a cop.
Yeah,
Uh,
back in the golden age. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
okay, but we're talking about in more recent times. Yeah,
yeah,
there.
yeah,
I
but
I know I
Guardian,
know of I know of a few features that heavily featured cops or law enforcement. From back in the day, because we've covered them here on this channel. So, and
yeah.
Canute the
But
King, Canute the
my
King is
point is,
saying
go ahead.
175. Don't panic is good motivation. What's your favorite 1961 cartoons? Well,
I'm
I
not
would
sure
say
because I
anything
don't
from
know.
Hanna Barbera.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Access Commissioner Gordon. But no, what I meant more by bringing up Guardian, yeah, he's not so much the cop anymore, but he's been in comics more recently. Yeah, what he does isn't really cop drama or whatever, but he
yeah,
still was a cop, so I'm not sure how much that applies.
yeah. But anyways, in Thin Blue Line, the quote unquote lady cop, is a protagonist named Officer Valeria Baca, a beat cop, street level protector of her community in Hagen, Illinois, who is also trying to raise her little girl as a single mother. Barron's creative team consisted of active duty police officer Joseph Arnold, who did the pencils and layouts, and illustrator Jeff Sleemans, who handled the inks and finishes. The book is colored by Ichsan Ansori and lettered by Warren Montgomery. And we saw Warren's name before, too. So Warren, I guess, works a lot with Barron, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
it's clear from the finished work that they put their hearts and souls to every single page of this book. The 64-page one-shot comic book edition from Antarctic comes in two versions, with the main cover by artist Sergio Cariello, who was also involved with Daredevil and the Action Bible, and a blazing variant cover by Butch Guice of Action Comics and Alpha Flight fame.
Cool.
There's Valeria right there. Barron
Yeah.
says he understands that the topic of police can be a politically charged subject. Quote, I realize many indie comic publishers and creators openly supported the quote unquote defund the police movement on their social media, unquote. Barron adds, quote, but I believe this wildly entertaining and timely story deserve to be told, particularly in light of how media regularly portrays law enforcement officers as unfeeling monsters. The truth is, they're diverse people with flaws, unique perspectives, and personal struggles. Um, and what makes this story stand apart is that it's not a police recruitment pamphlet. It's not preachy, it's just entertaining and exciting, and very simply demonstrates that not all heroes are perfect and not all heroes wear capes. The crowdfunding campaign exceeded the team's expectations to such a degree that they were able to donate thousands of dollars to multiple police assistance organizations, including Adopt a Cop, BJJ, the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund, and the National Fallen Officer Foundation. A few copies of a limited run, oversized black and white autographed hardcover edition of the story are still available at thinbluelinecomics.com. Antarctic's version of the book is the classic stapled comic format, um, and while it's the same story, it costs far less than the square bound premium style books that were distributed through the Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns last year and are available in limited quantities through Barron's own website. Antarctic shipped the comics version to stores and comic shops, and they arrive in shops today. Coincidentally, this Saturday is also Free Comic Book Day, which will make a trip to your local comic shop even sweeter this week. Maybe you can get copies of Thin Blue Line for your law enforcement supporters and pick up an issue or two of those cape wearing superpowered mutants vigilante books as well. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's all the articles for tonight. We're like at 58 minutes because we of course got sidetracked, but that's okay. Um, so we'll now get into the wrestling wrap up a bit here. Um, you know, now tonight, of course, AW has Dynamite. We'll talk about what's on tap for Dynamite tonight in a moment. Um, we already talked a little
We'll
bit
say
about what.
dynamite.
Yeah, we already talked a little bit about what was going on with WWE this week as they're preparing for their Backlash pay per view. Of course, I'll go over that card again tomorrow. Um, they had last Friday and Monday here, they had the WWE draft, but not a lot really changed. They didn't really move around a lot of people. There were some call ups. NXT, some people who were in NXT got called up to the main rosters. Other than that, not really a whole lot of movement going on on Raw or SmackDown. So now on the
Later, Elk.
Good night, Rick and Money. So with that, anyways, so On tonight's Dynamite, of course, um, the Dynamite will open up with a Cope Open match. As Adam Copeland, the current AEW TNT champion, will be defending his TNT title against Buddy Matthews of the House of Black. Samoa Joe, coming off of his recent loss to Swerve Strickland, you know, at Dynasty, dropping the AEW World Title, will be taking on Isaiah Cassidy. An FTW Rules match: Chris Jericho defends the FTW title in Katsuyori Shibata. Claudio Castagnoli takes on Brian Cage of the Mogul Embassy. And Serena Deeb will be taking on Mariah May in a women's match. So that's all we got for the wrestling wrap up, as it were. So now, with today being Wednesday, May the 1st, 2024, let's take a look back at this day. Neat history. History! So, okay. So first off, I'm going to head back 30 years ago today, as on this date 30 years ago today, back in 1994. On this date back in 1994, Rick Rude regains the WCW International title from staying in Fukuoka, Japan, but the decision is later reversed due to Rude's use of the title belt as a weapon during the match. The title is subsequently vacated when Sting refuses to accept it. So on this date, this is back when WCW was doing a lot of work with New Japan as well. So on this date, 30 years ago today, Rick Rude regained the WCW International Heavyweight title from Sting, only for it to be eventually vacated when it was discovered he used the title belt as a weapon. So, moving on to 1999, 25 years ago today, on this date, back in 1999, 25 years ago today, the first episode of SpongeBob SquarePants aired. It's currently the second longest running Nicktoons series and became a global phenomenon. So on this date, 25 years ago today, SpongeBob SquarePants premiered on Nickelodeon.
And that horrified the world.
That horrified the world? Is that what you said?
Yes. The world became a worse off place because of it.
All right. Well, anyways.
Did you tell I'm not a fan of SpongeBob?
Now, moving on to 2009, which was, of course, 15 years ago today. On this date, 15 years ago today, the brain-based OVA Denpa Teki na Kanojo released on this date, which literally translates to radio wave like girlfriend. So on this date, 15 years ago today, the brain bases OVA Denpa Teki na Kanojo, translated as radio wave like girlfriend, premiered or also translated as electromagnetic girlfriend, premiered on this date back in 2009. And finally, on this date 5 years ago today, back in 2019, on this date in 2019, the 15th and penultimate issue of Eclipse from Image Comics went on sale on newsstands on this date back in 2019. It sold for $3.99 and was 28 pages. So on this date back in 2019, 5 years ago today, the 15th and penultimate issue of Eclipse from Image Comics went on sale on this date back in 2009.
Did it get eclipsed by anything?
I don't think so. So before, of course, we close out, Rick, did you want to do any kind of outro before we head out?
Just for those that might not know, I have my own stream here on YouTube, channel, I should say, Cross Comics. If you want to go over there, find it, subscribe, or check it out. And if you like it, subscribe. I do at least something once a week, a live panel show. A lot of times it's just me. Sometimes there's other people on the panel. I've got to actually do something about that. Please, I've got to set up a new group for people to maybe get on easy enough. Maybe I'll do one on Facebook as well as one on YouTube. I mean Twitter. So yeah, that's it. I'm good. Again, I'm not gonna go get a link because my internet right now is precarious at best.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I thank everybody for being here. We, of course, will be back here tomorrow night. And tomorrow night, of course, we'll be most likely doing the Indie Comic Showcase from Bleeding Fool. I should have Rick, I'm sorry, not Rick, but Tim Olson on with me as we cover that. Also, Rick will be back here Friday when we continue our look back to February of 1940. In which we'll be covering comics that went on sale. This week we'll be looking at, of course, comics that went on sale from Fox Feature Syndicate. Among those include the first issue of Weird Comics and the fifth issue of Fantastic Comics, among others. So with that, I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.
Because it's only a day away.